I found out this morning that I am one of the people laid off from Meta. The emails came at 6 a.m. I slept until 8 like a baby. And I woke up to several text messages. The one that I read first was from my former manager, and she was just so fantastic. I was very happy to hear the news from her versus the email. I am looking for another job in corporate. My experience is in sales enablement, learning and development, instructional design, program management. Most recently, I've been supporting sales teams with AI enablement. So if you know of anything and would be looking for someone to, bring on to help with any of those things who has experience doing that at scale, let me know. Sending love to all of you who are going through the same things because it is stressful. And I'll be documenting how I spend my layoff as well as how my job search is going. So if you're interested, follow along.
Hello everyone, it's Aiden. I woke up this morning and found out I got laid off, which means effective immediately I'm no longer working for Meta. After multiple reorganization and at least 4 rounds of layoff in the past 6 years, it's finally my turn to get laid off. Starting immediately, I lost all internal access. It's kind of funny because exactly 1 month ago today, on April 20th, I told you guys I was going on recharge, and today is actually the last day of my recharge. How am I feeling? Honestly, I have mixed feelings because I really loved working at Instagram. It provides designer a big platform and opportunity to work on projects that impact millions of people. But at the same time, as a content creator, you also want to focus more on content creation and share what you love. It's a good news and a bad news in some ways, so I will use this opportunity to really think about what I should be doing next. I just found out from a severance packet that I've worked for Meta for over 6 years instead of 5 years. And for those interested, regarding to the severance packet, this is how to calculate. The termination day is actually August 20th for me. So my separation pay is calculated based on 16 weeks plus 2 times of the years of service minus the number of weeks in my notice period. For the rest of my PTO, they're gonna pay out as cash. So based on the calculation, I'll be paid for the rest of the time until next March-ish. If you're on the same boat, don't hesitate to reach out if you want somebody to talk to. I'm actually quite excited about whatever is ahead of me. But as a normal human being, this kind of things affects your emotion. It's pretty normal. I might just take 1 or 2 days to digest it. If you have any questions about being a designer at a big corporation, feel free to comment below and let me know what you want to know. Since I'm no longer working at Meta, I can share my insights more freely. And thanks my existing audience for continuous support. To my new audience, feel free to follow along my creator journey. And also, if you have any questions about becoming a creator, also feel free to comment below and I will share everything I've learned in the past 3 years as a content creator. I'm feeling super grateful for the opportunities to work with all the talented people in Meta in the past 6 years. I also met a lot of great leadership to mentor me, to help with my career growth. So thank you all the people that I've worked with, and I really hope that we will cross our paths again in the future. And that's all for the video. Thanks for watching.
Meta did a huge layoff yesterday. About 8,000 people were laid off from their position. And essentially, Mark Zuckerberg said success isn't given. And when he says that, he basically is saying that, we can't guarantee this thing is going to work, but we're willing to take a chance on it. Yes, Meta's moving more, of course, towards AI. They have been for quite some time. But I think it's important because I seen this other guy on another video, and he was talking about this AI software that's being, released, and how this software can be navigated and it only needs 1 user to do like 500 people's jobs. So that AI software could essentially, you can eliminate 500 people's positions, get 1 person to, watch over this system, and you're saving a lot of money there. But I think what's also scary is how quickly everybody's moving into AI. Like even my job moving into AI seriously fast. Like even with calls, they're like, you don't have to take notes anymore. You don't have to change this on a customer's account. It's all done by AI. Eventually, what I do is going to be done by AI. I think it's really scary how quickly we're just navigating into this space, in the world of unknown with AI. But yeah, right now that is what we're competing with. That's where the jobs are going. It's going to AI.
Facebook layoffs. I don't know what page that story is on, but this is a very, very interesting story. Rob, if you have what page the story is. So Facebook is laying off a bunch of people today. But guess what they announced to their employees? If you just tell me the page, I'll go to it.
The Meta layoffs are addendum at page 7.
I see it. Perfect. So Facebook is laying off 8,000 employees today amid AI transformation. But guess what they're telling their employees? Don't come to work today. What do you mean? No, while we're doing this, just work from home today. Don't come to work today. Why don't I need to come to work today? Well, here's why. For the last month, employees at Meta have been on the edge. April, they were told that 8,000 of them, or 10% of the workforce, will be laid off on May 20th this year, as Meta remade itself for the artificial intelligence age. On Monday, they learned another 7,000 would be reassigned to new AI initiatives. The axe started to fall in Singapore, where at 4 a.m. local time Wednesday, emails went out to workers who were being laid off. Employees in Britain, U.S., and elsewhere will be notified Wednesday morning in their respective time zone. Meta's offices were said to be mostly empty on Wednesday after Janelle Gale, the company's head of human resources, told employees this week that they should work from home on the office walls. Some workers had hung up flyers sharing a petition to stop Meta's new program to track their data for AI training. 8 employees said some workers scavenged the office for free snacks and laptop chargers on Monday in case they no longer had jobs by the end of the week, said the employees, who declined to be identified for fear of retaliation. The turmoil of Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, offers an up-close of layoffs in the AI age. Last week, the networking giant Cisco said it would eliminate 4,000 jobs as it shifted more resources to AI. Microsoft, Block, Coinbase recently announced layoffs or buyouts because of the powerful technology. So Tom, we're seeing this going into companies like Meta, massive company, multi-trillion-dollar company. How important of a story is this?
I think it's very important. We covered this about a month and a half ago. I remember one of the things that I had done research and found out was that there was a lot of people, the first layoff that they were announcing, they announced in January 2026. And in that January 2026 announcement, what was hidden the fact that there was 1,500, then another 700, then another 1,000 that were all supposedly related to Reality Labs. Now, what is Reality Labs? That is the name that Facebook gave to the group that was building Metaverse. So in other words, they have been delaying, and the people that were there put the comments on. By the way, Reddit suddenly becomes the conscious of Facebook because everything can go out there and people have burner accounts on Reddit and whatnot. You found out that Reality Labs, that was formerly, what would they call that? Oculus, they were going to put on the goggles and all that. So that was bloat. So what I'm getting to is there was a lot of bloat that was delayed layoffs that Facebook did early in the year that Wall Street loves. Wall Street loves it when you take a one-time charge and it's not long-term, because now you've reduced operating expenses. As long as you're showing growth, now your PE's up. Life is good. Good things are happening. But what this is signaling is a bigger contraction. And the big statement inside of the Facebook announcement that I saw, 7,000 people internally being reassigned to AI initiatives from whatever they were working on. And I was trying to find on Reddit and other places how much of that was Reality Labs. And the answer is a good amount of it is, but I didn't find any like hard figures. So if you were working on various things, smart engineers are being put on the product that they think needs more smart engineers, which is AI, which I thought was very, very interesting how this happened. And to give you the scope of AI and maybe get right back, kind of reflect on banking we just talked about, Pat, you want some very interesting investment stories? So this is related to it. In Q1 2026, this was the largest global VC investment period of all time. $331 billion globally, venture funded investment. Now, did that go into small companies that are there, people with a hoodie trying to get someone in there? Nope. 50% of it went into 4 companies: OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, and
50%
Waymo.
50% in 4 companies.
50% of it.
Wow.
And then 80% of the total went into AI, and 65% of the 80%, or 50% of the total, was only OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, and Waymo. But wait a minute, who's got all that money? That's a ton of money. You know, this used to be that when you reach this way, you would hear about Fidelity, T. Rowe Price, and BlackRock, all who have venture arms, and they would jump into things like WeWork. They would jump into things like late stage Uber before Uber went public. That's where the money coming from. You know where this money came from? Check this out. It came from the following. SoftBank put $30 billion in 2026 into OpenAI. That's Japan. Middle East and Gulf states, check this out. MGX, that's the UAE's version of PIF, which is Saudi's public investment fund, right? So MGX was UAE, took the lead. They're the lead in OpenAI's $122 billion round. And they also invested in, remember, put 2 chips on 2 companies, Anthropic's $30 billion Series G that just happened. And then Humane, PIF, put $3 billion into XAI. And then, not to be outdone, you know who led Anthropic's Series G? Singapore, GIC, and Temasek. These are giant sovereign funds that are now putting the money in because the dollars are so big. You don't go to Sequoia. You don't go to Benchmark. You don't go to the usual suspects there, Kleiner Perkins. You are now having to go
The time has finally arrived. The day has come. I know people are getting tired of hearing about AI. Well, Meta just laid off 8,000 employees due to having AI. And the reason why some people are furious is because it's the way that they did it. They told them to don't show up to work today. You can work from home. And I know some jobs have it like that where some days you come in the office and some days you work remotely. Well, I don't know what's going on and the way AI is just starting to just take over. And I think they're putting their faith too much in AI. They're starting to trust it too much. And what I don't understand is that they're trying to rush everything. So, imagine you just working for Facebook, one of the most popular websites ever, doing work remotely, going to the office. And then all of a sudden, you've been hearing about this. You don't know when somebody's going to replace your job. And that somebody is not really somebody. It's really AI, artificial intelligence. And what I want to say is that humans are always going to win over AI. Because this is the reason why. I know people like to say, well, humans tend to have feelings. They get in their emotions. But AI don't have no feelings. But let me get this straight. Not all the AI that we use in this country, does it work 100%? That's what I want to ask y'all. It really doesn't work 100%. It has problems. And just let me talk about this. Y'all remember that app that you can create things on there? It was a Sora app. And then they discontinued it. And the reason why they discontinued it is because maybe people wasn't using it like they thought they would. And I heard when people was using it, it'll mess up sometimes. You know, you would have to do the video over if you wanted to do an AI cartoon. You had to do it over. So with that being said is that AI is not 100% perfect. So if something happens, they still need a human to replace it. And it's just crazy. All these layoffs out of nowhere. But the crazy side of that is that some people I done seen online, they're happy they got laid off. Maybe that job was taking a toll on them. Maybe they was just tired of coming back and forth to work. Some days you gotta work in the office. Some days you can work from home. And in my opinion, if I was a remote worker, I would want one or the other. It's either I'm gonna work home all the time or I'm gonna be in the office all the time. It's not no in between. And I think a lot of people would prefer to work from home than get up and go somewhere in the office just as much as gas is. And then on top of that, the job was probably not even paying as much to even survive due to this cost of living, this inflation. And it's a sad day because it's like one thing after another. How many layoffs we gonna see? Nike laid off people. Meta laying off people. And Facebook been around for so long. I remember when I first got a Facebook, I was in high school. And a lot of people thought that Facebook wasn't going to be around. But it's back. It's back stronger than ever. I really don't be on Meta like that. To each his own. But that's a crazy situation. Some people got families to take care of. Some people don't have no backup plan, no other job. Some people wasn't preparing. So it's like I always say, when you work in these jobs, always have a backup plan. Never get too comfortable. Because job security is a myth. They tell you that you got the job, and then once you get the job, it ain't the job that you thought you would be working, and then you just get fired or laid off. And the crazy thing about layoffs is that some people think that, well, when they lay me off, they'll call me back. But half of the time, they don't even call you back. So it's like you just wondering, wishing and hoping a company call you back. And then it's like you just wasting time. You just chilling. Because you've been working so much, so when you get free, you just chill and do nothing. So that's just part of the trap. And look how long it takes for somebody to get a job. And then to just lay you off in a bold way, tell you don't even show up to work, and then you gotta trick up your sleeve just to let everybody go. And then the response to it, it's like they gave back a they don't really care, a nonchalant response. So it's like, you see how your employer feels about you, but you start to take it personal. I told y'all can't take nothing personal. It's getting too rough out here. Times are getting more difficult. I wish they would have had some more leniency. You know? And if you're going to fire somebody, at least do it in a proper way. They want you to submit a 2-week notice in a proper way. But when it's time for them to let you go, they do you in the worst way possible. And it's getting worse. The economy is still collapsing. And that's just my take on this situation. Let me know how y'all feel about this. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Leave it in the comments. Peace.